It's got a little metallic taste. I love what I do. I've been a professor for 21 years. I started when I was 12. And I love everything about my job except one thing. And it's not grading. I like that too, surprisingly. What I hate is student apathy. When a student just does not care. I work at a community college and I commit the crime of copyright infringement. You know what that is? I photocopy all the materials so they don't have to buy the textbook. Because for many community college students, buying a $150 textbook means a lot. So I'm like, don't worry about it. I got it all. It's literature. I can find that stuff for you. And I have 100 copies extra in the room. So if, oh, you don't have the book, don't worry about it. I got it right here for you. And still, some students have that apathy. So I'm going to tell you a story of one student named Anastasia. Anastasia was a chronic texter and a chronic eye roller. She would sit down doing her thing. She had extreme vocal fry. You know what that is? Vocal fry. Like that she would talk, right? And she said, Prof, why do we have to talk about death so much? It's so boring, so depressing. I'm like, you know, these are works of literature. People die. Life is like that sometimes. Oh, my God. Little by little, Anastasia did something to me, to my soul. And I remember one day I woke up virao. What does that mean? Exactly. I'm not happy. I'm ready to avenge my birth. That day I wake up and I'm like, let's see who's going to mess with me today. And I go into that classroom and I see her. I'm like, oh, there she is. There she is. So what I'm going to tell you is the one time that I had to go up to the dean's office because of a student complaint. It's like going to the principal when you're a student. This is what happened. I said, Anastasia, I would like you to read the poem by Robert Frost on page 41. She says, I don't want to read. And then it hit me. That's when it happened. I said, okay, Anastasia, let me ask you something. Do you like coffee? She said, yes. All right. I love coffee too. Have you ever had Puerto Rican coffee? She said, no. All right. Puerto Rican coffee is delicious. I want you to imagine you're in Puerto Rico. You're in old San Juan. And you just had a wonderful lunch. And now it's time for coffee and dessert. Here comes the waiter. Ready for your coffee. But it's hot. And he's sweaty. And a big fat drop of sweat falls from his forehead into your coffee. Would you drink it? She said, oh my God, no, that's disgusting. No. I'm like, all right, Anastasia, I would drink the coffee. I would drink it. Because inside that mug, there's 99.9% wonderful Puerto Rican coffee. There's only one tiny element that's extraneous and repugnant. What I mean to say, Anastasia, is that you are the drop of sweat in my classroom. I know. I got in trouble. I had to go up to the dean. The dean is like 6'4". So I'm like, yes. She's like, oh, it says here in the report that you called her a drop of sweat. Yes, I did. And then she said something beautiful. She said, well, I know you're a poet. I know you work with metaphors. I don't know what that means, but could you not do it again? I'm like, yes, I'm not going to do it again. Am I free to go? And she said, yes, go. And I left. 2 years later, I won that big award, so now I can call anyone a drop of sweat. But don't do that. If you're a professor or a teacher, just ask the student, do you like coffee? And you know the rest. You're already calling them the drop of sweat. But I found a pedagogical message behind all this. So I want to say it to the young people in the room. Don't be the drop of sweat, salty, insignificant, incapable of making a difference, irrelevant. Be the coffee, bold, wonderful, and able to wake people up. Always be the coffee. Thank you. Before I read my last poem, I would like to thank Jorge Breton and everyone at Georgia Tech. I'd like to thank Marilu. This is a long time coming. I'm so happy that I'm here. In the morning, I went to Papi's and I had arroz con frijoles. And that's why I'm moving slowly right now. I'm like, ropa vieja. So, and then the mofongo that we have right after this. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. These 4 women are my son's 4 great-grandmothers. You know this lady. This is Witch Hazel lady, Veneranda Rivera. I never met her, but this is Juana Oyola, my mother's mother. Genevieve Murphy and Bernadine Stack. What I love about our country is that we can have stories that are very, very different, but in a few generations, you get this. And those 4 women, their stories are in him. When my son was in 2nd grade, he was doing a little project. He had to do an oral presentation about his country of origin or his ancestors. And he said, "Daddy, can I borrow the flag?" And I'm like, "Nene, no sé, porque la vas a ensuciar, no sé." "No, I won't get it dirty. No, please." All right. I didn't get to see him in the classroom, but I saw him practicing. This is the day I took this picture. He puts the flag around him and he says, "My name is Oscar Avila. I am from Pennsylvania and I am Puerto Rican." And I go, because the thing that some people don't seem to understand is that you can be both. You can be a proud American and you can be a proud Puerto Rican. Just like you can also be a proud Italian, Spaniard, Irish woman, Irish man, etc., etc. You can be that. You don't have to lose it in the process of assimilation. You can gain from it. And then the tragedy of a grandmother not being able to communicate with her grandchild would be over. And not just that, you would gain a lot and enrich the country even more. So I say, for those of you who are raising children or who plan on having children, expose them to as much culture from other countries as you can and other languages. Because when we're little, we're smarter and we can learn many more languages. So do that. And with that in mind, I'm going to read the poem Bloodline, which is the story of the 4 abuelas and what I think this country is about. And after that, I guess we'll hang out. Bloodline. Abuela Bene, the daughter of a former slave and her owner, married a Spaniard who became a Puerto Rican nationalist. And together, amid the dangers of Albisu's battles, they had 3 sons, the youngest of which, Alfonso, treasured me the way I treasure you. You carry the heart of West Africa, the might of Spain, the dream of independence in your veins. Abuela Juana, whose parents can be traced back to the natives who greeted Columbus, married Gracia, a blue-eyed campesino. And of their 11 children, my mother, Josefina, the first to attend college, would sweat through a 2-hour commute on 3 buses in the sweltering heat of the tropics to become a teacher. The nobility of the Taíno and the grit of the Jíbaro shine in you. Great-Grandma Bernadine, daughter of Austro-Hungarian immigrants who severed their Slavic roots amid the turmoil of war, lost her husband as a young mother and raised her 3 children by herself. Her oldest, Nancy, who cultivated kindness from the hardship of scarcity, gave birth to your mother. The resilience of the Slovak, who survived against the odds, against the elements, propels you. Great-Grandma Genevieve, Irish, life of the party. And your Polish-American great-grandfather, a mailman like my father, taught Grandpa Joe, the oldest of 7, the meaning of honest work. And within you, the unyielding spirit of Ireland and the fortitude of Poland coexist. A convergence of countries has shaped your history. Some roads that led you here were paved with the blood most often shed in vain. Up north, brave women and brave men fled the only worlds they knew in search of something better for their children. Toward the island, it was a different journey for the conquistadores, who ravaged, built, and altered a land that they would lose after 400 years to a country that still cannot understand the splendor of our race. The anarchy of hearts that ache for sovereignty, a state that can't be found. Our people are all from somewhere else, but they are all from here. From the treacherous distances they traveled, with the courage to build another legacy, unquestionably something has emerged, and that, my son, is hope. You are every slave who worked the fields and dreamt of being free, every Irishman and Pole who was spat on by immigrants who came before them and by each other, weathering unmerciful winters, breaking their backs, working the mines and farms. You are every newcomer who changed his name to assimilate, who disposed of his native language to assimilate, who was told that being an American is to assimilate, who by stripping his heritage and grieving it in silence, waited for the warmth of equal treatment. You are every Puerto Rican who left the sugarcane field for a mainland factory job, making lowly wages and awaiting equal treatment from fellow American citizens who refuse to see. You, hijo, are every tear of a Taíno whose land was ripped away by greed, disease, and hate. You are all of them, their truth and the distortions of their truth. The centuries, the continents, the ocean, seas, and rivers that flow into your being and reflect the rainbow that has spread into your eyes, where in chaotic harmony they celebrate at last. And in a multitude of languages they scream, I am the future of America. I am the future of America. Soy el futuro de América. I am the future of America. When you see me, you'll see yourself. Thank you. Muchas gracias. Thank you for being here. And now we're going to move to as they cook the mofongo. They're actually killing the lobster, so it's very, very painful.
So please don't leave yet. We are going to wrap it up in about 10, 12 minutes. Thank you, Javier. That was great. I heard new stories.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I don't know where to go. I'm going to sit here, hang out.
We have about 8 to 10 minutes.
I'm going to move over here.
We have about 8 to 10 minutes for questions from the audience, any comments or questions. And if you want to ask a question, please raise your hand, and Heido, a volunteer, or Stephanie will bring you a microphone. One person at a time, please.
They get shy at first, but then they'll ask.
We got one.
While we wait, I want to say that in addition to The Trouble with My Name, there's Polvo, a brand new book about a womanizer who becomes a murderer. It's in Spanish, though. Good book, good novel. And then there's Vapor, which is a bilingual book of poetry, all mine. It only took 10 years to translate. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I didn't expect a mic, so thanks. So when you went through this transition of you becoming like the light-skinned güerito to moreno, right? How long did it take you to accept that and accept the differences that you carry within yourself?
It took me a few times of realizing that I really was, because I really was under the impression, not that I thought I was white like Kevin Costner is white, but I thought I could pass. And then I realized my mother has been relaxing her hair all her life, and really, in a racist way. Now she's not a bad, here's the thing, we have a wrong definition of what racism is. We're all, one way or another, racist. But we think that a racist is just the person who is very hateful and says nasty things to one group of people. We're all living in a white supremacist culture. Therefore, there are ways that we see ourselves that are favoring white and being negative to non-white. And my mother would do that and would say, oh, I have a European nose. I have European lips. And she would say, your father, he has an African nose. And then she said, I'm so happy that you don't have his nose. My grandmother, mi abuelita, who was black with green eyes, said, con una negra no te cases. Don't marry a black woman. When I was dating a black girl, she was like, yeah, she can be your girlfriend, but don't get married. Because hay que mejorar la raza. You know what that means? You have to improve the race by whitening it. She would be very happy if she saw my wife and kid, but I didn't pick that. I fell in love. But once I accepted it, it was liberating. And I realized that I was in Puerto Rico living in a bubble and living a lie. And then I realized how beautiful it is to accept yourself and that we don't have to treat ourselves as any less just because maybe we don't have the action figure or the movie star that represents us.
I'm glad that you mentioned mejorar la raza. That's pretty much what I was trying to get to. Just understanding that there's these prejudices, these racist issues within Latin America itself, and the way we perceive ourselves as Hispanics, right? And what's to be your lighter Hispanics, maybe you're more worth. And I'm just glad you said that, because that's really what I wanted.
Yeah, and you learn, you have a privilege when you're lighter skinned as a Hispanic, and you realize that on the island. You realize that quickly. And you know, this is the dirty little secret that no one wants to talk about, but yeah, there's a lot of racism in PR. And racism from like Puerto Ricans against Dominicans, Dominicans against Haitians. I don't know what the Cubans do. I love them, but yeah, food is great. But it happens, and the more exposure we have to one another, the more we are in each other's worlds, then the less that's going to be an issue. We need to truly be colorblind. Not the way someone will tell you, I don't see color. No, that's BS. That's not true. It's the way you have to be so exposed to it, like my son is, that he doesn't see me as, he just sees daddy. He doesn't see me as, oh, there's a brown man living in my house. No, he knows, he's used to it. His Uncle Harry is black, Latino. And yeah, you should see them holding hands in Old San Juan. And that's the beautiful thing, that he's so used to it that it's just a part of his life. And that's something that we need to do. So we see it. The best way to make something positively invisible is to see it every day. You see something every day, then you don't see it anymore, in a good way. But you have to see it first. So thank you, sir. Let's see. My answers are long, apparently. Oh, this young man over here, yes. While he waits, I'm going to ask, where's another good place to eat after this near the area, on the way to the airport? Hook me up later, in private.
Hi, Miguel.
Miguel.
So, as someone who's gone through college and grad school, can you talk about what imposter syndrome is like, especially for those of us that are minorities? Is it something you've dealt with? Is it something you've seen?
The good thing is that I had a very high self-esteem from the start. But there is that happens. One of my dissertation team members, one of the professors, one of the readers, thought that I plagiarized because it was so well written. He didn't think I could possibly have written it because I'm not a native English speaker. And that is, at times, when I went into my graduate school classrooms, I looked around and I saw mostly white students, and I thought, well, they know a lot of stuff, probably. Not that I thought they would know more, but I was a little intimidated. And then I realized, once they started talking, that, oh, wait a second, I know that, and I know a little more in this respect because I got a great education at the American Military Academy and incredible education at the University of Puerto Rico. The University of Puerto Rico is like going to an Ivy League, but really only paying $30 a credit and going through a lot of issues that you have, political and all that. But still, to take classes with Esteban Tolinchi, Marcelino Canino, Ana Lidia Vega, Arturo Echavarria, these were people who were incredible. Luce Lopez Barat, Mercedes Lopez Barat. You're talking about the cream of the crop, academics who are known worldwide. You have their knowledge, and remember that you are always the student of your teachers and your teacher's teacher. So they have so much knowledge. I would go anywhere. I go everywhere, and I'm proud, and I feel very confident. But at first, it happens. Once you start interacting, you realize, I can hold my own. I can do it. But you have to take that step. And it's scary. It's a gender thing, too. Sometimes, if you're a woman, you're taught to behave a certain way. And then and I see it all the time in my classrooms, where you have some confident guys thinking that they wrote the great story. And you have the more reserved woman who is a much better writer, not a show-off. And I have to kind of say, well, you know what? Show us what you have. And when she reads, everybody goes, oh my God, why didn't you speak up? I don't know. Maybe she was not taught that. But that's the thing. Sometimes the loudest person will get the credit, but it's not the best person. So you just have to be out there, and it will come for you. I don't know if that helped.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
We have time for one more question. Okay.
I'm going to make an observation. I think people are generally clownish. And when you're not confident and comfortable and you haven't lived outside of your sphere, it's pretty easy for people to look at somebody who's different and rechazar.
Yes. Yes, it's human nature. Yeah.
And I had the opposite experience. I moved to Puerto Rico as a young woman in my 20s, and I don't look Puerto Rican, and I speak Spanish, but I'm not a native speaker. And I had a great deal of trouble breaking in and being accepted until I proved that I wasn't going to judge them, I think. I think they expected me to judge them because I was blanquita, americana,
Yes.
whatever it is that they thought. So maybe people need to stop looking at each other that way and just look at each other as other people.
Certainly. My wife went through a similar experience. She was the white woman who came to Puerto Rico to teach at the University of Puerto Rico, and her students were terrified. They thought, aquí viene la gringa. Aquí viene la gringa a castigarnos, because it's a discourse, it's behavior that happened many, many years before, where they even changed your name. If you were Pedro, no, you're Peter now. You're Jorge, no, now you're George. And my wife would come to me and say, first of all, I don't know what to do with them. And I'm like, hey, tell them, speak your truth. Tell them you're married to a Boricua. Tell them that you like rice and beans and you like all these things. Because food connects people. And she one day said, well, this is against, I don't really like to talk about my personal life. Do it. You have to connect with them. Because look, you're really white. Like when she would walk down the streets, people would stare at her and she was like, do I have a penis on my forehead? Like, what's going on? They're going to edit that out. Don't worry about it. Like, what's going on? Why are they looking at me like this? You know what? It worked. She talked about me. She talked about food. And then the students took her to Rio Piedras, to El Pueblo, when there were still people there. And it's a joke, but it's true. And they had rice and beans with her, and they had a great connection. And it was a great class. But yes, there's prejudice everywhere, everywhere. And the more we see each other, the better it is. It's going to take time. I think younger people, perhaps, I don't know, maybe they have a better grasp of it. I could be wrong, though. We'll see. Are we?
Thank you very
We're
much.
good. Thank you so much.
So I'm just going to make very, very brief closing remarks. And before I do that, on behalf of Georgia Tech,
Oh, thank you.
I would like to present you with a token of our appreciation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend.
So today's show was the fifth
Mofongo.
and last of our Hispanic Heritage Month events. And our events celebrate and recognize the economic, scientific, cultural, and social contributions of the Hispanic and Latino community in the U.S. Other Hispanic Heritage Month events on campus have included a kickoff, and I think we're going to get some slides pretty, yeah. Yeah, so The previous events included the kickoff with mariachi band and the bachata and